Okay, so everyone has written the number 1 3/10. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to think about this number in model form. So you have some shading materials that I asked you to get out, and I want us to think about shading this model to represent 1 3/10. So if I'm shading this model to represent 1 3/10, I've noticed that I have a 1 in the ones place. And so I'm going to just outline and shade this first model. So that's going to represent my hole. I'm just going to go ahead and write a number 1 right here to represent that hole. And then I need 3/10 more. So when I look at my model, I notice that this model is cut evenly into 10 equal pieces. And I need 3 of those. So I'm going to shade that. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. And I can go back and I can label those tenths, 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. And so quickly, as I look at this model, I can think to myself, is this model closer to the number 1, just one piece, or is it on its way to being the number 2? Because we want to round to the nearest whole number. So just looking at the pictures, what are you thinking in your head? If you would like to share, you can give me a thumbs up. Cadence? You're thinking it's closer to 1.
It's under 50, and 50, if it's at 50, like 150.
Okay.
It would be about 56.
So you're thinking that this isn't even halfways. Okay, so you're thinking it's closer to 1. Do you agree with that, Travis? Okay, and you as well, Clayton? All right, and Caroline? Good. So that's one way to look at this. I'm thinking, yes, it is closer to just one whole model instead of on its way to being 2 whole models. Another way would be to look at the number line. So if I'm thinking about rounding to the nearest whole number, I'm going to start with the number 1, and I'm on my way to being the very next whole number, which is 2. So I'm going to put that on my number line. And I heard Cadence say a while ago that she thinks about something in between, and she thinks about 50 being between, right? I often think about money when I think about what is between, because money is so easy to relate to. And if I had $1 and I had $2, what would be between $1 and $2? We would say $1.50, or 1 5/10. And because this model is cut into 10 equal pieces, we need 10 equal pieces between the number 1 and the number 2. That makes sense? So I'm going to give myself 4 little marks here. I'm going to cut this quickly and label those. And then I'm going to label this 1 1/10, 1 2/10, 1 3/10, 1 4/10, 1 5/10, 1 6/10, 1 7/10, 1 8/10, 1 9/10, and then the number 2. And I know that you've done this in 4th grade, but I'm just reminding you that if we're here at, excuse me, on our number line, and we find the number 1 3/10, we kind of circle that so it stands out. Are we closer to the number 1, or are we closer to the number 2? Yes, we're closer to the number 1. Therefore, we would estimate and round this number to the number 1. It is closer to the number 1 when we think about our whole numbers. What questions can I answer for you? That should be pretty easy, pretty like something that you've seen before, right? Good. Okay.